Hey guys, it's Amy, and so today I want to show you the MAC 15 Cool Eyes palette. Looks like this, and here's the back. So, and here it is without the, I guess the cover on it. Can you hear? Maybe I'll go up close. So, I've had this palette for a couple weeks now. I got it as soon as it was on the MAC website. I also got the warm one. It was right after Christmas, I think, and I used some gift certificates, Christmas gift certificates to buy these. I haven't used the warm one yet because I really wanted to focus on this palette before I did a review, because sometimes I think people do reviews and they really haven't thoroughly used a product, and so maybe their mind changes, and oftentimes later on down the road you see that same person saying, oh, you know, actually I love this product now. And so I didn't want to be one of those people. I certainly wanted to you know, be prepared. So I have used every shade multiple times. It's on my eyes today. I have a really dark look on. Someone said in one of my videos that they said like something like, you know, I have so much great makeup, why do I always, you know, do such light application? And the reality is I don't. I think it's the fact that I don't have a camera. I just use either my mini iPad or the regular one, or sometimes my iPhone, but yeah, and I don't have good lighting, and it's winter, which means it gets dark really early, and yeah, so I typically always, when I film, have a full face of makeup, unless I tell you guys otherwise, but I don't know that that comes across. So yeah, I don't even know if this look will come across well, but anyway, so I want to, oh, well, okay, I brought some props to show you. So typical MAC eyeshadows come in a little pot like this. This is actually black tied, and oh, excuse the nails, I'm gonna do them after the video. You can also buy these for a cheaper price out of this pan, and then you can buy a palette this size, or even there's a smaller one, and then you can put it in. Now this palette is different in that these shadows come in here. They're not removable. I mean, I'm sure there's a way you can remove them, but I have no idea how. And so the colors, there's a couple colors from the old permanent line. Like, in this one, there's also black tied, which is like this one. And what else? Brune, blackberry. Okay, Cumulus was a limited edition. That's a re-release. So anyways, there's some re-release, like Cumulus is a good example. And then there's some that supposedly are now into the permanent collection, but I do believe you can only get them in this form. So Tara Babies also did a video on these palettes and made a good point, like if you're out of one color, is it going to be worth it to get a whole nother palette for that color? Like in other palettes, in other brands, like let's just use an Urban Decay Naked palette, you could buy that solo shadow that you ran out of. So anyway, one of the things I was most nervous about was the fact that MAC often has collections. I don't think that needs to be said. They have more collections than I think any mid to high-end brand. It's a little bit ridiculous. Because there's literally new collections every couple weeks. You couldn't keep up. I mean, if you bought everything from every collection, I don't know. I don't know how you'd use it. But this is an example. This was from the Spring Color Forecast a few years ago, and it was the Color 4 palette. Now this one, I actually really love, this palette. But a lot of times, those limited edition palettes won't necessarily be the best color payoff. And you can read about that on beauty blogs, like prior to buying it, if you want to know, like, is it a good one or a dud. Of course, those are people's opinions, but you know, usually it's pretty trustworthy. And so I was worried that this was going to be a dud and that I was going to be stuck with just a couple good shadows. And honestly, I can honestly say I really haven't come across a dud in this palette. I think this one right here, which is Silver Fog, and see, it doesn't even swatch that nice. I don't know if you can see that. It's a touch hard to work with if you're using it on top of other shadows, like to add shimmer. But other than that, one issue, and it's not even that difficult or that big of a deal, I think this is such a winner. And if you were going to buy an empty 15 palette, why did I think 16? 15 eyeshadow palette and buy this little thing and all the pans, I'm guessing, I think it would run you about $160. And this is $100. So you're essentially saving $60. The downside is you can't pick them. You can't, you know, you can't say like, oh, I'd really like to add cranberry into that palette and take out whatever. So there's no swapping. So this is what you're getting. However, if you like cool neutrals, this palette is amazing. I've not had to use any other palette. You know how sometimes you'll get a palette, but you'll have to like use other eyeshadows to really create a look. I haven't had to do that once with this. It's such a nice range of darks and lights and shimmers and mattes, or yeah, there's a couple mattes. I'm not really a matte obsessed person, so there's certainly enough for me. It looks like there's 5 or so, 5 or 6 maybe, but they could be satins. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, there's such a nice variety, such a nice mix. If you're into cool shadows, I would definitely recommend this. Now, the one thing is, as we all know, there are tons and tons and tons of mid-ranged, middle-of-the-road, you know, as far as price goes, palettes like this. Now, the one difference is this is all cool shadows. Oftentimes, palettes will have a mix of the two, cool and warm. But this is definitely all cool. But you kind of have to ask yourself, do I really need another neutral palette? Now, I'm glad I have this because like I said, I really like cool shadows. This is something I gravitate towards. It was a no-brainer when I opened the two that I knew I was going to use this one first, do the review first, before I ever tried any of the warm shadows. That's just me. I guess everyone, you know, obviously everyone's different on their preference, but I think it's a good value for the money. It is significantly more than, say, the Urban Decay Naked palette or the Balm Nude Tude or those kind, but I think, you know, you're getting 15 shadows, 15 full-size shadows. I don't know. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth a shot. And I think, okay, you know, you guys know if you've watched me, I am not a returner. I don't know if I've ever in life really returned anything. I helped my mom return something and it was just really awkward. I don't think there's anything wrong with returning anything that you don't like. I've never done that. So, anyway, I wouldn't return this, of course, but I think MAC has a nice return policy. So I think if you bought it, tried it, and thought, oh crud, I don't like it, I don't think it would be like the end of the world, so, for you to return it. Okay? So hopefully this is somewhat helpful. And yeah. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.